So we got breaking news from the African Union. The African Union has now released a statement, a directory. The chairperson of the African Union Commission, H.E. Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, calls for urgent international action as crisis escalates in Mali. That is the headline of the statement from the African Union as dated the 9th of November 2025. The chairperson of the African Union Commission, H.E. Mahmoud Yusuf, expressed deep concern over the rapidly deteriorating security situation in Mali, where terrorist groups have imposed blockades, disrupted access to the essential supplies, and severely worsened humanitarian conditions for the civilian population. Ladies and gentlemen, the African Union is back again to throw its weight behind the Sahel. But permit me to say this, some weights are rather not thrown at all than even thrown. Okay? So a lot of people have been asking the African Union to show its capacity, to be able to assist the Sahel whichever way it can. So when you ask for some certain type of help, you know what you are going to expect at the end of the day. So number one, you just understand the type of organization the African Union is because of the first statement right there. The African Union, even in the headline, was already calling on the international community, calling on international action. Well. If the African Union was talking about international action, maybe you should be talking about the funders, the known funders of this jihadist sect, most especially the main funders of the JNIM. If the African Union was calling on, sanctions and every other thing to be taken against this organization, definitely, yes, that means their capacity is now coming to use. But at the end of the day, what they are asking for is actually very, very unbelievable. At the end of the day, the humanitarian crisis in Sudan is there. The African Union is not doing anything about it. The Congo situation is there. It wasn't doing anything about it. At the end of the day, the African Union to talk about a situation in Mali that is actually under the control of the Malian authority is actually surprising at the end of the day. When you look at the propagandas that the foreign medias of certain countries have been throwing out online, and they've been throwing out this propaganda with their official government source. You should understand how desperate the situation is for those people. They have industry, they don't have any raw material. So the struggle, the scramble for resources is on. The hot chase is on. So at the end of the day, I never found it in any article or in any journal or website where the Malian people were crying for the international community to come and save them. So what's the African Union talking about? And I feel like before the African Union should even come out in any capacity to make this type of statement, they should have, had some sort of conversation, right? Rapport small with the Malian authority. And it should be on the consent, of the Malian authorities to make this type of statement. So, sometimes when people throw their weight out there, you just imagine like, man, you shouldn't have even thrown the weight at all, because at the end of the day, I don't know what to say about the African Union. In fact, at this point, I don't even believe this organization should exist, because the things that was actually said under this article by the African Union, enough lies, enough propaganda. I don't understand. Well, you can't expect anything better from an organization that 60% of its monetary fund is being provided by the European Union. So, if the African Union wanted to even show any capacity at all, it should have actually called on a coalition of the willing. Let's say something like that in Africa exists, right? Coalition of the willing states, which I feel like a lot of states will be willing to help. Give us your forces. Let's create a coalition force. Let us ask the Sahel how many of those forces they need, what type of equipment do they need, what type of funding do they need, what type of equipment do they need to combat this issue? How can we, these are the questions that should be coming into play. But the African Union is a very funny organization at the end of the day. The African Union and the ECOWAS, at the end of the day, we continue to see what they can do. So, that only shows you that the statement that the Nigerian president have actually been saying is actually true when he said so many amphibious landing has taken place in Lomé. So we have the receipt here. Look at the French troops with the Beninese troops. I don't know what type of operation they are carrying out. I don't know what type of patrol they are doing. And, at the end of the day, you can see them strategizing and mapping out a lot of things and all of that. So, when you look at everything, at the end of the day, Benin Republic authorities have always proved beyond all reasonable doubt that, they are not ready to be liberated. They are not ready to liberate their people. They are not ready to be liberated in any way, form, or capacity. Benin is not a sovereign state, because at the end of the day, how can you have that number? The Beninese territory is not that big, but how can you have that number, that size of troops, foreign troops in your land, and you talk about sovereignty? Man, that's just unbelievable. And you heard the words of General Abdurrahman Chiari, that all the troops that were driven out, they went to sojourn in Benin Republic, meaning something. They are still hoping that overtly or covertly there will be a sort of destabilization in the Sahel, there to where, when you get thrown out, you should go back home. But if you are still hanging around, it means that, there is a plan to still redeploy. But at the end of the day, that is not going to happen, because the Malian people are not even calling for a redeployment, and that's how it's going to be. Nobody's turning back, because at the end of the day, the situation of France now is now it has now turned to a situation where people are now laughing on the social media. You can see French citizens even, making fun and, making a joke out of their government. It just shows you the current situation of France right now. So Africa has come to that point where everybody's beginning to realize that we don't need foreign intervention. We don't need international community. If the African Union wants to help anybody right now with the need of pressing concern, it should be Sudan and not Mali. Mali is handling its own situation. And if Mali even need any type of help, right? Mali already has a partner that it has security agreement with. China is there, Iran is there, Russia is there, North Korea is there. These are the people that belong to the BRIC alliance. So if Mali wants to request for any type of, security, agreement at all, it should be with those people from that side. It should not be from, whatever the African Union is talking about. At the end of the day, we just want to tell the African Union, if they can hear us, you have to stop. If you have a family member that works in the African Union or works with them, whichever way or form, it's better you just tell them that they should stop, because they are disgracing us all. Because the first thing you should do, if the first thing you think about is calling on the international community in an African situation, in an African context, where the issue we are handling is African localized issue, is actually disturbing. It shows that the African Union is even telling the world that the whole continent is not sovereign. That is what that message looked like. So the Nigerian Air Force have announced several victory in its airstrikes that it has been launching in the past 72 hours, and a lot of jihadists, according to what they said, that a lot of jihadists have actually fallen on the line of contact. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the images they provided, that they have continuously launched, and they said they are going to fly smart and they are going to make sure that they end this war of insurgent. They end it here and now. Ladies and gentlemen, maybe the Tinubu government reshuffling the service chiefs, maybe it will actually give birth to some, we never can tell, but I mean, there's always a place for a benefit of doubt. We are going to be watching very closely, and maybe they are giving us something to work with at the end of the day, before, some of us, we used to avoid anything that has to do with the Nigeria. But we are seeing a lot of changes right now. You know, the Reverend Father in Benin State, the Como, you know, they've now deployed, you know, several military officers to go and protect the place.
I want us to realize that the armed forces of Nigeria, the Nigerian Army, the Nigerian Navy, the Nigerian Air Force, the police is your armed forces, it's your army, it's your police. I want you to realize that we are here for you. We are part of you. It's not a case of the army is different and over there and the people are here. We are all mandated to ensure that Nigeria is safe, is secure, and everybody can thrive in it. But we must have peace, because if there is no peace, there will be no development. And by God's grace, that peace, we shall get it. One thing is certain, this crisis has been on for getting to 25 years now. But what we should realize is that in all the parties that cause these problems, we have criminals in every segment. Once there is peace, there are some people who are not happy, because it's when there is crisis that they make money from the woes that they inflict on people. I want you all to realize that, please, Operation Enduring Peace is deployed here to ensure the safety and security of everybody. We are here for all citizens of Nigeria. However, we cannot succeed without input from you. We cannot be everywhere. It's just not possible. But please, if you see something, say something. When you talk to us, I assure you that we are going to respond, no matter the time of the day, no matter where we are. And Pastor, I heard you saying that you are ready to die, put your life. I want to assure you that nobody can kill you until God says it's time for you to come home. And within our own resources, we shall ensure that we do everything to protect you. So you are still going to be here for a very long time. Don't worry about that. So please always reach out to us. You know, now that you are seeing me talking, you know, when they say Jews, Jews looks like very, very far away. Look at me here now. I am the Jews. And I'm very sure if I was not in uniform and sitting down right there within you, you won't even know who I am. So the fact is that we are all human beings. Blood is in our veins. We are the same people. There's no difference between you and I. But I agree the killings have been going on for too long. We will do our best to stop the killings on all sides. Because on all sides you have all these issues. It makes absolutely no reason why a human being should be killed. Lives are too precious, and I assure you that as long as I am the commander of Operation Enduring Peace, we will ensure that we stamp out all the killings, stop all the craziness, and stop all the criminals from doing anything wrong. On this note, I wish everybody very well. May God bless you all and grant your heart's desires in Jesus' name.
We are getting a lot of information from every side. The Nigerian armed forces are, you know, we are hearing of military victory here and there, you know, I mean, and the Nigerian armed forces are really coming out at the right time to throw in their weight to really batter the jihadists. Why? Because the jihadists are really going against each other right now. And, you know, if you want to see real action, that is what has been going on between the Boko Haram and the ISWAP. in Nigeria, Borno State to be specific, Borno, Yobe. I mean, it's at both land and on the sea. It has been so much action, ladies and gentlemen.
Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar!
The kinetic of this action has just been second to none. So you can see that there are different versions of this video. The Boko Haram are really clearing out the ISWAP right now as we speak. But I'm very surprised because the videos of the ISWAP that I've seen before, they have so much capability. They don't even move like that, because some of the videos we've seen, the boats were reddened. Like the fighters of ISWAP that I actually saw, they don't dress like that. I've seen these ISWAP guys. These guys dress like some of the most advanced foreign machineries I've seen. They work with night gear, like night vision gears and all of that. But at the end of the day, seeing them like that, I mean, the Boko Haram actually laid waste to them and all of that, And like I said yesterday, at the end of the day, because if you could see as they were firing the shots, if you watch the video, you could see them making some Islamic rhetoric and, just shouting and all of that. Like I said, that this thing is all lies. At the end of the day, this one will come, they shout the same Islamic word. This one will come, they shout the same Islamic word. These guys have nothing to do with Islam, like I said, and that is a case closed final. They have nothing to do with Islam. It is part of the plan. It is part of the plan to, okay, when you do this, say certain things just to get the sympathy of certain people that cannot think out of the box. And once they say it, you always have a lot of Islamic sympathizers jumping into it. Oh, they are fighting for the name of, the fanatics are there to back them up overtly and covertly, even though it's not requested. And when the time comes for them to blow up a mosque, they are going to blow it up, and you are still going to have the fanatics finding one way or the other to, to still go ahead of it and be like, it can happen once in a while and all of that, But let me tell you something, right? Every time this clash happens, it is because the interest of their founders, is colliding, and somebody has to come out and talk. Now, let me show you this video, right? In this video, you are going to see some things, right? Let's watch this video.
So this is how they supply these banditries food and ammunitions. These Boko Harams and banditries, you can imagine, even after supplying them these things with chopper, Nigerian government cannot even trace where the chopper is coming from and where the chopper landed. You can imagine the kind of weakness we have in our security system.
Now, in that video, you could see a lot of jihadists with their guns and rifles and all of that. That is in the bush. That's the middle of some place in Nigeria that is unknown, right? Look at the man that came out, that told them to move back, right? That is the leader. That is the main founder. Or maybe one of the representatives, and he doesn't really need to come down there. Those guys that came out from the vehicle can just, that came out from the aircraft can just be sent and all of that. But maybe he wanted to come and, he wanted to come and visit the boys, those that are working for them at the end of the day. So those are the ones that fund, those are the ones that tell them what to do. So this is not about, you are a Muslim, you are a Christian. These guys don't care about anybody. They don't care about anybody. They always find a way to infiltrate and something. Okay, so as citizens, you all should come together and say it for what it is. Terrorism has no place in Africa. And the earlier we realize this, the better for us. Look at that, right? Those are founders. Recently in the Sahel, an aircraft got blasted. because they told there was a call to the aircraft, pilots to identify itself. The aircraft pilots chose to stay anonymous, and at the end of the day, the aircraft was actually brought down in the Sahel. We just saw the news and we actually stayed quiet on it because that was a top level news and we didn't just want to put it out there. A lot of people actually started, bringing out the news and all of that. We were waiting for a confirmation, and to this day, we didn't get that confirmation. So given the fact that, there have been several amphibious landing in Benin Republic and all of that, much more French troops entering the Beninese, sea and all of that. And, they have been carrying out a lot of exercises and all of that. Well, we don't have any water around the Malian territory where these guys will try to, I don't know what they are doing at the end of the day, but the thing is, for me, I do feel like, it's just time for us to be more sensitive than ever. We need to watch out because at the end of the day, these people, they don't have any type of good intention. They continue to lie, they continue to do a lot of things, and that's why we need to just come together at this point and just, continue to support the government of, those people that have chosen to stand for us at this point in time. So the Burkinabe authorities have now banned a certain fitness instructor from South Africa from, going through with his November planned tour to Burkina Faso. Currently, he's in a different African country. So according to what we have, he should be coming later this month to Burkina Faso. But the Burkinabe authorities have actually said, no, they don't. The plan is all dished now because according to what they said, he did not obtain the right authorization and all of that. So, ladies and gentlemen, there have been a lot of propaganda out there, but it is the only reason why he's not in Burkina Faso is because he did not, go through the right channel and all of that. So that is just the information we have for today. Homeland or death, we will prevail. We have no other home to go to. And for those of us that choose Africa first and we choose to remain in Africa, I love you all, man. Much respect. Thank you and God bless you.